Figure I'll do a response video to the conversation between Cody and Fake Sagan. But first I get to a couple other issues. Some person made a video, in response to Crossesberg's stupid, idiotic, fucking goddamn accusations. I mean, this whole idea of, yes, let's go after his character with information that shouldn't even. This is, it's not for public debate, okay? My personal life is not for public debate. If Einstein's wife said he beat her or something, is that going to change Einstein's right to talk about the theory of relativity? No, it's not. I mean, this is just such a bullshit argument. These cowards, they can't fight the words, they can't fight the logic. So instead, they just keep trying to find some way to diminish the person speaking it, and fuck that bullshit. And so if somebody wants to put their life on the table, all right, their whole life to be picked at, all right, I'll do it. I'll do it then, okay? I'll prove that I've paid for my existence. All right, I've earned it. But till then, fuck you people. Fuck you, you cowards. You cheap, fascist cowards is what you are. In my speech, I don't have a right to speak because I live under certain circumstances that you know nothing about, but that you can just make your generalizations about. You fucking pieces of crap. So anyway, I blocked 20 of her subscribers, or his, or whatever the fuck it is. I can't even tell what it is. Can't even speak into a microphone. Make a video that's coherent. That isn't got a bunch of breath sounds in the goddamn microphone. And this asshole is going to analyze my life. Fuck you. Alright, anyway. Alright, then the Fake Sagan Christopher 7 thing is just so strange and preposterous. I mean, nobody but Fake Sagan heard what Fake Sagan heard. I mean, what? Everybody has to be perfectly articulate. It's just so stupid for Fake Sagan to get all hysterical over this verbiage. I mean, I think, in my interpretation, when I heard Christopher 7 was pretty simple. He was just basically saying, black people are human. They're hypocrites, just like white people. They're assholes. But if you're saying black people are assholes, you're not saying black people are human, then you're an asshole. That's all he was saying. It's not that complicated. So fuck that. What a pile of shit. But anyway, so then Fake Sagan and Cody thing. So they're talking about their defeatism or whatever. I figured Fake Sagan's anarchy was a pile of shit. And it is. He doesn't think it's a practical philosophy. Well, then what the fuck are you sitting there saying I'm an anarchist for? Why don't you just say I'm an impracticalist? Come on, why don't you do it? Why don't you actually be explicit and just say, I believe in impractical philosophies, and that somehow the world will come out better if I believe in impractical things. It's just stupid. So anyway, they're arguing about how no change matters anyway. There's nothing we can do. It's in the nature of the beast or some other bullshit. And it's just such a pile of crap. And they've focused it all around this idea of the class warfare thing. And the class warfare is just a necessity to come up with a civilized society, an equitable one. But even in an equitable society, we're still going to piss each other off. That's just the nature of humanity. We see it in the Crossesberg response video. He is so attached to his nepotism as a personal philosophy of that somehow it makes sense to him that yes, that's how we should run societies. Is that it's not about what you earn, it's not about the character you acquire as an individual and what you earn as an individual. No, for some people it's they get to inherit that status in life. It's such a pile of crap. But anyway, these systems can be fixed. There's nothing futile that we've just never, societies just haven't gotten it right yet. And they really haven't had the opportunity. 200 years ago, they couldn't make a democracy like we can make one today because we can use technology. We can do instant runoff voting. We can get rid of the geographic districts. We can get rid of the party control of the system. We can get rid of the compromise that happens before an election and have the deals made after an election where they should be made, and in the public, right in front of the public. And we can have real representatives instead of this compromise candidate that you always end up with, this liar, this bullshitter. this guy who says whatever he has to say kind of crap. And get rid of all this regional crap. I mean, it's all these little nepotisms, all these little nationalisms, all these isms are what's fucking us over. That's what's stopping us from finding a better way to do things. Because if we got rid of that and just thought about how do you engineer society and structure a government, it's not that fucking complicated. It really isn't. You try to optimize the democracy. You try to make sure that all decisions or all laws are passed through an informed process where they have to survive some sort of hurdles and a challenge before they can become law. It's not that hard. We've sold out to these stupid parties that have ruined the courts, and they've ruined, the whole three branches of government doesn't mean a hell of a lot when they're run by parties. So anyway, this is a fixable system, and the economy thing is so obvious to me. It's just getting so clear and obvious, and that's why I think there will be a class war, because I think people are going to understand this. I mean, this is the information age, and so when we have a Great Depression now, people aren't, they have the internuts. I mean, nuts, whatever, and so they have some way to fight back. They're not going to, the rich aren't going to be able to regain control again. They're not going to be able to take over another revolution. We can stop them, and this really isn't that complicated. I mean, what destroys all these, every economy gets destroyed by this idea of privilege and legacy wealth. If you get rid of legacy wealth, it's a huge benefit. Get rid of corporate bankruptcy, another bullshit. All surplus, all productivity should be controlled by the people who earned it, by the people who did productive work. It's not that complicated. And you can have incentive economics. I mean, if you put a limit of $250,000 as the highest income and $35,000 is the lowest for 8 hours work a day, you can have a really engaged, free-ish kind of market where people have all kinds of incentives, and you just get rid of all the blight. You get rid of the bullshit. There's so much thing, but these are it's just a fixable system. So anyway, they blame everything on, some sort of, it's human nature to be selfish, and so we have to step beyond our own self-interest, and that sort of illustrates what's wrong with the parties, because those are self-interests, the special self-interests, and so they take advantage because they can get more power and more control over law by playing the party game. And that's why it needs to get broken. But this idea of just this futility shit, that's exactly that's the prescription from accomplishing nothing. And Fake Sagan talking about revolution. I mean, a revolution has to have a blueprint. And that's the problem. You got no blueprint. Why don't you talk about a specific? Why don't you talk about real policy? Why don't you talk about instant runoff voting? Why don't you talk about getting rid of the geographic bias? Why don't you talk about inheritance and consolidation of wealth and legacy wealth and its corrosive impact on practical and real incentives in an economy? But you just keep avoiding all of that shit. You just keep talking about these ambiguous terms, and it's useless conversation. So anyway, I don't know what else. Is there anything else to say? Like I said, if they actually made a specific statement, there might be something to respond to. Sagan, he even brought up some little remark about China, and China's a perfect example. China's not communism; it's bullshit again. They got all kinds of classes in China. It's all kinds of bullshit going on. They need a class war over there. They're hardly living the Marxist dream. To Cody's remarks, I mean, the one that stuck out to me was he's talking like it's a rape to do the right thing and make sure that Hitler doesn't get elected. I mean, the fact of the matter is, by people voting, by them exercising some control, there's going to be 3 Supreme Court justices, maybe 4, that are going to be completely different. They're going to be black and white differences between the 2 extremes that they would have been on. Okay, the world is going to be different because of that decision, because of that election, and so it's just idiotic. I mean, you're just such an asshole. You don't fix things by running away. You really don't. And things can be worse. Okay, so at least you can stop things from being worse. That is an accomplishment, you idiot. Anyway, on this general idea that somehow, I agree, the human condition is basically shit. Okay, I mean, an easy life is an empty life, and a hard life is a hard life. You know, so it's hard to win in this stupid game. But we can make it better. We can optimize it. We can make it more efficient. And all it takes is systems. It takes design. It takes engineering. But it ain't gonna happen if everybody just says words like revolution that don't mean anything.